So, where do I begin? This life thing, is a faith walk. And there's times when you can believe with all of your heart that you've heard a word from God and you're on the right path and you're doing what you're supposed to do. And then life takes a turn. An event happens that cripples you. You can't get up, you can't sit down, you can't roll over. It's just pain. And in those moments, the idea is to persevere. The ideology is to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, keep pushing forward. That is one of the hardest things to do when you believe that you're doing the right thing, when you believe that destiny is in front of you, when you believe that I'm on the path, God said, I did. That's the hardest thing to swallow, that you may have potentially done the wrong thing, or you may be in a battle that you're just not ready for. So, about 7 years ago, I met someone, and it was not like a choice meeting. It was totally out of the blue. It was cosmic, in my opinion. It was something that I didn't expect, that I wasn't looking for. And it was one of the greatest feelings ever. It seemed like the best thing that had ever happened. It seemed that every other relationship, every other connection just wasn't real in comparison. It was almost like being high. It was almost like having a dose of a drug that you can't get more of and you can't get enough of. And it wasn't always pretty, but it definitely caused me to stretch myself. It definitely caused me to see myself outside of myself, to examine the way that I show up, to examine what I thought was acceptable in past relationships. And there were a lot of areas that I had to check myself, like, whoa, don't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that because you're hurting them. Don't do it. But it wasn't a reciprocal mindset. It wasn't, the thought processes weren't aligned. The cause to action, where you say this hurts and I must do whatever I have to do to stop hurting you, wasn't equal. It wasn't an equal playing field, in my opinion. So gradually, with time, that resilience, that ability to say, you know what, this is it. It's us. I'm in the right space with the right person, doing the right thing. And that's just Satan testing us. And that's just our growing pains. And this is just causing us to figure out what works for us opposed to what works for the individual. I was no longer able to do that. I was no longer able to think in a we mindset. I was no longer able to think you greater than me, us greater than me. And I quit. I quit trying. I quit believing. I quit envisioning the wedding and the love. And I quit thinking about the butterflies and the highs and the lows. And I quit focusing on the good. And I got numb. And decided that I don't want to do this. I don't want to painstakingly be hurt. I don't want to feel like my world is crumbling every time something happens. I don't want to be so open that my heart breaks every time you hurt me. And I don't think that was the right choice. Let me clear that up. I know that wasn't the right choice. I know that the backside of love is pain. And the backside of love is pain because there's so much growth that you have to do in order to be one with another person. Because when you're one by yourself, whatever works for self goes. Oh, I don't like it like that? Guess what? Don't like it like that. Sky's the limit. Keep going with that thought process. But when you're attempting to unify and connect yourself to someone else, I don't like it. Like, that's not acceptable. It has to be, we don't do this, and we are moving forward with that. And if that hurts you, that hurts us, which in turn hurts me. There has to be this whole connection of the domino effect mindset where, okay, I can take this course of action because that selfishly will work for me. It will benefit me to get an attitude and shut down and not speak and not love and not be transparent and not be your friend. And that's catastrophic. That kills. It doesn't heal. The mindset has to be, I'm willing to die to this part of me so that I can water, nurture, grow, and live in this us. And I failed. I failed because at some point I decided that in order for me and my sanity, I couldn't think like that. I couldn't live like that. And the quandary that I have now is sometimes I ask God. For a long time I was angry with God because I'm like, you put me in this position, you gave me something that I didn't ask for, that I wasn't looking for, only for it to be deadly, to be deafening. I don't feel like myself. I don't know myself. I don't know what this is that I'm feeling. I don't know why it feels like my insides are boiling. I don't know why I feel like I can't move. Am I dying? I was very angry with God for the space that I was in, for the pain that I felt, because I'd never been there before. I'd never went to those uncharted waters of whatever we need, I'll do. Whatever makes you happy, I'll try. And in retrospect, I get it that open or closed. And I went from being closed off to being completely and utterly open. And for some people, putting your heart in their hands is something they're not ready for. They might be ready for your body. They might be ready for your money. But are they ready for you? Are they ready to be solely responsible for how you feel, for how you hurt, for how you live? Are they ready to grasp the concept that when you hurt me, you hurt us? And that happens because when we're one, I'm affected, you're affected. You go negative with me, there's going to be a negative outcome. In retrospect, I also learned that I'm willing and I'm lovable, and pain is okay. Because I'm a big wussy. Like, you hurt my feelings and I feel like I'm gonna die. I'd rather fight. I'd rather physically get out there, fight, get up, dust each other off, and move forward. I do not know how to take emotional pain, and it's the end of the world for me. Because I just believe that if you love me, you are conscious of me, you are considerate of me, you are handling me in accordance to me. Not what works for you, not what works for Julie down the street, but I'm handling you because I love you, and I love you enough to pay attention to you, pay attention to how you move and how you smile and what jokes you like to play and what time you like to go to bed. What's your favorite book? You know, what can I call and say that's naturally going to get you to smile, that's going to get you to light up like a Christmas tree? For me, love is not about the tangible. Love is about those things that you give that are free of cost, free of financial cost, but they're definitely costly to one that's not ready to put themselves to the side, to put a union together and put a union first. So I learned that in retrospect. I also learned in retrospect, the key thing that I learned, the thing that actually started the whole purpose and premise of the video. This faith walk, this journey of life is no joke. You be careful of the things that you speak and the things that you ask for, because you will get them. You will get them. I am very conscious of myself. I may not discuss it with others. It may not appear that way, but I am very, very self-conscious. And for a long time, when I say self-conscious, I don't mean like, oh, I look fat. I mean like, oh, wow, I did that. Oh, wow, I thought that. I am very, very like, and I'm very accepting of myself. I'm okay with being me. I'm okay with making mistakes. I'm okay with looking like an ass. I'm very comfortable with it. Throughout this experience, I got to visually see and experience the attacks of Satan. Like the real attacks, like those thoughts that he plants, like, oh, don't do that. That person hates you. You know, you can be amidst the greatest thing in the world, and then one thing will happen, and your perspective is skewed. And you know, the Bible teaches us that Jehovah is not the author of confusion. So you know, if it's confusing or if it's negative, it can't be of God. God cannot be writing that. And knowing principles and experiencing principles are two totally different things, because I know a lot of principles, but when you're experiencing them by the hands of someone that you love and adore, the experience is totally different. Because for me, I'm familiar but not friendly. There are people that they adore me. They consider me their friend. However, I consider them an acquaintance. You know, you'll only get so far. If I choose to let you in, if I choose to give you the unguarded me, if I choose to share my children with you, if I choose to share my day-to-day with you, and when I say day-to-day, I mean the true, my feelings are hurt, I'm sad, this was my experience, this is how I see things. If I value you enough to unload on you and ask for your opinion, your perspective, your insight, I've let you go to a place that not many get to go. So for me,